The battlefield shifted to the tables, and the politicians from all countries squabbled with each other over the rights to the underground natural resources, the initial cause of this war. 6 months passed without any developments. 6 months of void.
Gentlemen, you are the cream of the world's air forces. This country desperately needs your help. 6 months ago, an extremely well-armed and organized terrorist force carried out a coup d'etat. Attempts to free our country have been foiled by repeated surprise attacks. To avoid escalating this war and causing unacceptable civilian losses, we wish to employ your services. Surgical airstrikes and the elimination of enemy air superiority will tip the scales in our favor. You will receive remuneration commensurate with your positions as the premier top guns of the world.
Hello and welcome back to the Ace Combat Canon run. This is a run where I play through all the Ace Combat games in chronological order with the protagonist Canon aircraft. This is part 2 of the series. If you haven't watched part 1, what are you doing here? Go watch that. Anyways, the rules are the same as before. Play through all the Strange Reel games in chronological order, fly the Canon aircraft for each protagonist, play on the hardest difficulty, and shoot down all the aces. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Side note, I started writing this script in early December, before Ace Combat 8 was announced. But now that it has been announced, let's go! The Balkan War was not the only playable conflict that happened in 1995. Sometime in 1995, a coup d'etat happened in the continent of Uzia, not to be confused with the 1998 Uzian coup d'etat, and took control of the Federation of Central Uzia-controlled Scully Islands. Hi, future me here. So when I was almost done editing this video, I found out that apparently this game is no longer recognized as depicting the Scully Islands insurrection. The Scully Islands insurrection did still happen in 1995, according to Aces at War, but it was never explicitly stated that this game depicted said insurrection. So apparently this game is now stated to depict an unknown conflict in an unknown country at an unknown time. And we play as Phoenix under Phoenix Squadron, not Scarface Squadron. I don't feel like redoing this entire video, so I'll keep this video as is. Maybe I'll remake it if we get more info in the future. This change was made in early February, but I only just found out. Not sure what prompted this change, but Sly made it, and he's the expert, so yeah. Anyways, the hardest available difficulty is hard, so we're playing on that. Named aces also weren't invented yet, so we don't have to worry about that. Another thing about this game, mission order. Although air combat missions do have specific numbers associated with them, the game allows us to freely go to any mission as long as it's connected to a previously completed mission. For the sake of this run, we're going to do the missions in numerical order, since aircraft are completed by completing specific missions. Let's go! Mission 1, Destroy Enemy Supply Lines, immediately shows this game's mission naming convention, which basically just sums up what we have to do in said mission. We're tasked with shooting down enemy transport aircraft, and E-767s too, I guess. We technically don't have our first Canon aircraft unlocked yet, so instead we're going to fly the starter aircraft, the F-4 Phantom. I take down the first E-767, then get intercepted by a MiG-31. I try to chase him down and get behind him, but the F-4 really does not turn well. Eventually I manage to get a good angle, and my missiles just immediately give up for some reason. I fire another volley, but then we get introduced to our first annoying quirk. Enemies will sometimes just accelerate extremely quickly and run away like cowards. After catching up with him, I blast him with missiles, then I remember another thing with this game. Enemy aircraft have more health on hard difficulty, and the strength of your missiles depends on your aircraft. So on hard difficulty in the F-4, most enemy fighters take 3 missiles to down, meaning I can't take down fighters in one volley. The MiG does the whole running away thing again, but his friend joins in, so I switch to his friend instead. I hit him with a volley and try to gun him down, but trying to aim the gun in third person is horrendous, so I just finish him off with another missile volley. The other MiG continues being a coward, so I go back to engaging the transports. I also switch to HUD view because third person view really does not give much information at all. I get close behind an E-767, but slow down too much and end up stalling, and for some reason the alert system refers to it as an engine stall.
Engine stall.
After recovering, I take down the E-767. I then manage to get back on the MiG and fire at him. He tries to run again, but my missiles catch him before he can escape, finally downing him. I then engage one of the F-4s who are also escorting transports, and he goes down way easier, even going down in 2 missiles instead of 3. I get back on the transports, taking down 2 C-5s, then get intercepted by the last F-4, who goes down in a very similar manner to his wingman. With all the escorts down, I get behind the last 2 transports, take one down with missiles, then try to shoot down the last one with my gun, almost crashing into him. I come back around with a safer distance and shoot him down, ending the mission. Mission 2, Fighter Superiority, is the early game bomber intercept mission. I start by engaging the escorts, some Tornado F-2s. Now that I'm used to the controls again, I swiftly take out the first Tornado, once again taking 3 missiles. I chase the second Tornado, buzzing one of the bombers in the process. The Tornado goes down after a short chase. I then start engaging the bombers, and I take a bullet from the bomber's rear gun, so my aircraft systems start yelling at me.
Alert, body damage.
Enemy in sight.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy in sight.
Body damage.
I get chased by more fighters, this time being Harriers, so I quickly take them down. I engage the second bomber, and get oh so rudely shot at by the last Tornado. I blast him out of the sky for his insolence. Now that there's no more escorts to harass me, I take out the remaining bombers and finish the mission. Mission 3, Intercept, has us intercepting a group of enemy fighters. I try to get some missile shots off in the initial merge, and almost take a missile to the face of my troubles. I chase down an F-18 and take him out, then slam 2 missiles into the face of a Tornado. I quickly take him and another Tornado down, along with the other F-18. I then kinda just breeze through the rest of the mission. I quickly take down the last 4 aircraft, 2 Harriers and 2 Hornets, and to complete the mission. I was actually kinda surprised how smooth this mission was. In my practice run, my controller died during a maneuver and I crashed as a result. But I'm sure the rest of this game will be smooth sailing. Right? Mission 4, Night Attack on a Coastal City, is our only nighttime mission in this game. We're directed to attack targets in Donetsk City. This is our first mission that lets us bring a wingman along, so I bring along William in his F4. I actually forgot to set any limitations on wingmen until I finished recording the footage, so we're just gonna ignore that. I start by taking out the 2 F4s that flew out to intercept us, then head towards the coast to take out the communication center and the air defenses. I take out both of the comms buildings, then swing back around to take out the 2 RAH-66 Comanches, who both almost smoke me with their missiles. I then take out a couple of Tornadoes before moving on towards the enemy headquarters in the city. On the way, I engage a SAM site, misjudge the missile, and die. On my next try, I use a boom and zoom tactic to take out the SAM site before it can react. It fires a missile, but I fly too fast for the missile to pursue me. Continuing towards the headquarters, I take out a couple of MiG-31s and an F-15 on the way, even managing to take out a couple of them with my gun. I start taking out the air defenses around the HQ and attacking the HQ itself. I then misread my third-person HUD and think I have less missiles left than I actually do, so I just decide to finish off the city HQ and finish the mission. Welcome to the worst mission. Mission 5, Destroy Pipelines, has us searching the desert for enemy oil pipeline facilities. But that's not why this mission sucks. This mission sucks because there are tons of SAM sites. And sometimes, SAMs will just kill you and there's nothing you can do about it. Especially not in an F4. I only died to them about 10 times. It's almost like you're supposed to have better aircraft by this point or something. Anyways, eventually I managed to survive the SAM in the first area and start taking out the oil tanks in the control center. I also get harassed by a couple of F-14s, so I take them out too between my strikes. Because I hate this mission, I decided to just ignore all the other enemies and just focus on the main targets. I follow the pipeline to the second area and take out the oil pump and oil tank, making sure to minimize the time I spend in the area to reduce the chance of being hit by a SAM. I rush to do the same for area 3 and 4, ending the mission before a SAM can catch up to me and kill me. Mission 6, Destroy Production Site, tasks us with destroying rebel-controlled mining bases. I start taking out the ground targets around the first site, then I engage 2 F-16s that were sent to intercept me. They go down quick. I take out the excavator at Site 1, then move on to Site 2. As I head towards Site 2, I'm intercepted by an Su-27. I try to dogfight him, but he's really maneuverable, so I give up for the time being and attack Site 2 instead. Eventually I manage to get some shots lined up and take out the Su-27. I also get attacked by an F-117. He's a stealth aircraft, and in this game, that means they won't appear on radar until they get into missile range, so I gotta mostly track them visually. Luckily, F-117s are not very maneuverable, so he dies quick. Anyway, I take out the remaining ground targets at Site 2, and head over to Site 3, intercepting the interceptors that intercept me. I take out the facilities at Site 3, completing the mission. Mission 7, Suppress Radar Base, requires us to fly through a canyon and destroy the enemy radar facility. This was the very first canyon flight in the entire series, and as such, it lacks the refinements later entries have. Our speed is fixed throughout the mission, so I switch to third-person view. The canyon is really wide, so it's really easy. Throughout the canyon, there's some RAH-66 Comanches that try to take off, and AA guns. I especially focus on taking out the Comanches, because they actually have missiles and are basically the only things that can kill me. Despite me boasting about how easy this mission is, I somehow manage to clip my wing on the canyon edge and die. After the relatively straightforward canyon flight, I reach the radar and take it out, completing the mission. So now the insurrection forces are planning to retake Donetsk City, the coastal city that we recaptured earlier. Mission 8, Destroy Enemy Staging Area, has us striking at their staging area to stop their attack before it begins. When we arrive, some bombers have already taken off, so I start engaging them. I try to take out the first B-1 in the initial merge, but can't quite do so. I quickly get behind the B-1 and finish him off with my gun. I quickly take out the second B-1, then start fighting the escorting MiG-29s, who go down surprisingly quick. I'm apparently starting to get pretty good at using the gun in this game. I then head to attack the next targets, a squadron of B-2 stealth bombers. Because the B-2s are so flat, it's really hard to hit them with my gun from behind. Conveniently, the bombers are circling, so I'm not really hitting them from directly behind. Once the bombers are down, I head for the staging zone itself. I start taking out the air defenses on the surrounding hills, and learn that it's a really bad idea to attack an AA gun with my own gun because of how short range it is. I almost die as a result, so I play extra careful for the rest of the mission. I get harassed by a couple of YF-23s, and I engage them. They're a little annoying to fight since they're stealth, but they go down relatively quick. Now that everything that can hurt me is dead, I destroy the staging zone and its parked aircraft, finishing the mission. On to Mission 9, Destroy Military Port Facilities. Our job here is to destroy the enemy port facilities at Neustadt Bay and capture it. I start by quickly wasting the 4 MiG-29s that come to intercept us as we approach, then head to the port. I take out a SAM site before it can get an accurate shot off on me, then start strafing the oil tanks. The first part goes off without a hitch, and I head towards the other side of the port, where I take out the airfield. I get harassed by a couple of Rafales, and I start engaging them, where I learn that enemy Rafales have really low defense and I can kill them with just 2 missiles. The last remaining target is an Aegis cruiser in the port. I target what I think is its VLS, but it turns out to just be its gun. I come around for another pass and get a bit too greedy. I get smoked by a SAM from the cruiser. On my next attempt, I make sure to take out the VLS first this time, making the cruiser an easy target as I take it out to complete the mission. With Mission 9 completed, we finally have a new aircraft to use. We now have access to the F-16 Fighting Falcon, which is a welcome change from the F-4, being significantly more powerful, maneuverable, and having stronger missiles. I actually forgot about the F-16 when I first recorded this, so I had to awkwardly re-record the next few missions in free mission mode. Oops. The F-16 is significantly less stable though, a fact that I demonstrate by immediately stalling in level flight. I know the F-16 was purposely made to be unstable, but this is ridiculous. Anyway, Mission 10 VIP Recovery Mission is an escort mission. Oh boy. We have to protect this C-5 from enemy fighters. I start by taking out an F-15 that's immediately harassing the transport, before going after these Harriers, which I can now kill in 2 missiles. Yay! I catch up to the transport, which is getting harassed by more fighters, then play chicken with an F-15. I lose. This mission requires a specific strategy to keep the transport alive. At first, I think of the strategy of staying back to take out each group of fighters individually, then moving forward to make the next group appear. This seems to work at first, but eventually the transport is shot down. Turns out, the groups of fighters still attack the transport even if they haven't appeared on radar yet. I try again, this time trying to be faster. It still does not work. I do get this pretty cool kill of taking out an F-15 by shooting a missile right under the transport's wing though. I eventually come up with a revolutionary idea, known as staying near the thing I'm escorting. This actually works. The fighters end up getting drawn towards me instead of the transport, so I can lead them away from attacking the transport and pick them off one by one. With this strategy, I managed to draw away all the fighters and take them all out, ending the mission with the transport surviving. Mission 11, Repel Enemy from Captured Port, has the coup forces trying to bomb the port at Neukat Bay, which we captured from them 2 missions ago. We are tasked with intercepting and destroying these bombers. I start with the escorts, taking out a MiG-29. My wingman decides to keep the other escorts busy, so I start attacking the bombers. I take out a B-52, then a Rafale tries to get my attention. I chase him for a bit, but decide he's not worth the effort right now, so I return to the bombers. I go after the B-2s first, since they'll be the hardest to spot. While I'm attacking the B-2s, Mr. Rafale flies right past me and gives me the perfect shot on him. How nice of him. Since the escorts have come back to me, I work on taking them all out before continuing. Despite their efforts, they just die. All the escorts are down, so I move to finish off the bombers, taking out the last B-52, and trying to take out the last B-1 with my gun in third-person view. It doesn't work out so well, so I just finish him off with a missile instead to make sure I don't collide with him. Next up is Mission 12, Storm the Mothership. We're tasked with sinking the enemy mothership, which sounds really threatening, but it's actually just a carrier. I start by fighting off the Typhoons and F-4s that come to intercept us, the F-4s being really outclassed late into the game. Good thing we won't have to use the F-4 in the late game. I heavily damage one of the Typhoons, and my wingman actually finishes him off for me. A rare show of the wingman actually doing something in this game. I then sink the 2 cargo ships at the rear of the formation, before moving forward towards the cruisers. I then eat shit from the cruiser because I decide to fly straight and slow for some reason. On my next run, I make sure to approach a cruiser from an angle, which makes it way easier to dodge a SAM. I take out the VLS, then come around to finish off the cruiser. I do the same for the second cruiser, going so fast that it doesn't even manage to get a missile off before I take out the VLS. All that's left is the mothership, and a few F-14s guarding it. I engage and shoot down the first F-14, but unfortunately not before he manages to shoot down my wingman. RIP Bill. I quickly take out the remaining F-14s to avenge him, then start taking apart the mothership/carrier, which doesn't have any SAMs, but does have 3 AA guns on it. I take out the first 2 AA guns, but they heavily damage my aircraft. To avoid damage, I make a boom and zoom attack on the last AA gun. Now that the carrier's guns are out of action, I show the enemy what it means when they choose to play Protoss. Should have built a bigger Skytoss army than a single mothership. GG no re. With Mission 12 done, we get our next aircraft, the Su-27 Flanker. specifically the Su-27M variant, which is also called the Su-35 Super Flanker, which is also not the same as the Su-35S Flanker E. Also, one of the Super Flankers would later be given thrust vectoring and become the Su-37 Terminator, whose thrust vectoring tech would later be used for the Flanker E anyway. But I digress. With my Super Flanker in hand, let's head into Mission 13, Reconnaissance. Despite being labeled as a recon mission, our actual objective is to destroy all the targets, as usual. I approach the area and take out the Comanches that start taking off, and the landed transports. Some fighters come in to engage us, so I engage them back. My wingman draws the attention of an F-15, which gives me the perfect opportunity to take him out. Teamwork! I take out the second F-15 too, just leaving 2 YF-23s. I down the first one, while my wingman keeps the other one busy flying in circles. The second YF-23 then goes down with little effort, ending this short mission. Heading into Mission 14, Destroy Refueling Center, we're to destroy the rebels' last fuel depot. Luckily, this mission is way better than Mission 5, and I immediately die because I decided to strafe an AA gun for some reason. I don't remember why I did that. On my next attempt, I do the much more sensible thing that is just shooting a missile at the gun, as well as the facilities. I take out the other AA gun and get harassed by a couple of A-10s. Due to them being A-10s, they don't put up much of a fight. I also take out a Comanche, who does put up a bit more of a fight, but still dies easy. I then take out the oil tanks before moving towards the solar generation facilities. I try to use my gun on the Comanche as it takes off, but aiming is hard. I take out the solar facility and start taking on a couple of Gripens guarding it. Just like Rafales, they can be taken down in 2 missiles, so I do so. I also make sure not to forget about the Comanche. I then head to the other solar facility and destroy it, taking down the 2 YF-23s guarding it along the way. The last thing remaining is the main base, and I prioritize neutralizing the SAMs first. I take out all the SAMs and AA guns and kill the 2 Su-27s buzzing around. With all the defenses neutralized, I destroy the base, completing the mission. On to Mission 15, Take a Fortress. This is it. We're to launch an assault on the enemy stronghold at Scorpion Island. I take out the 2 SAMs and Gripens on the Ingress, then follow the bridge to the first island. A couple of F-14s intercept me, but they're not a problem to deal with. The island has a couple of SAMs that I gotta be careful with, but they go down without issue. Our first objective is to take out the suspension bridge linking Scorpion Island to the mainland, so I do that. A couple of F-22s attack me. Despite them being in the most advanced planes, their pilots are less so. It doesn't take long for them to be down, along with the F-18s that also come to help. Now that all the fighters are down, I work on neutralizing the airbase. I take out the air defenses, then destroy the control tower and crater the runway, putting the base out of commission and completing the mission. Now we get our final aircraft of the game, the F-22. Despite it being labeled as the F-22 in this game, it is actually the YF-22 Lightning II, the prototype version of the F-22. That's a lot of 2s. Technically, we unlocked this mission after Mission 14, because we were playing on hard, but it gets unlocked after Mission 15 on easy and normal, so I just went with Mission 15 for the unlock. Plus I just kinda forgot. Anyways, Mission 16, Strike, doesn't actually involve striking anything. Instead, it's just another canyon flight mission, with a little bit of tunnel flight peppered in, technically making the first tunnel run of the series too. Like Mission 7, our speed is fixed, so there's not really much we can do in our flight. There's not really much to say, I just fly through and take out the AA guns and choppers along the way. Eventually, we reach the end of the canyon, which just opens out into the ocean, I guess. And that's the mission. Time for the final mission of air combat. Mission 17, Discovery of Airborne Fortress. Our objective is to destroy the Sky Fortress that the Insurrection forces have for some reason. As with the first times, this was the first aerial fortress battle in the series. Now you could target the defenses on the Sky Fortress, but they infinitely respawn, so there's not much point in attacking them, other than maybe suppressing them for a short time. It's just a waste of ammo in my opinion. To take down the fortress, we have to destroy the 4 giant engines on the wings. I start attacking the engines, but also engage the fighter escorts that try to defend the fortress. Pro tip, you should just ignore the fighters, because they also respawn infinitely. But also they only spawn one at a time, meaning your wingman should easily be able to keep them off your back for the most part. Don't do what I'm doing here. Anyways, I continue attacking the engines, and also don't follow my own advice of ignoring the fighters. I take out the 2 starboard engines, then have some difficulties actually targeting the next engines because the targeting system sucks. I almost take a missile to the face as a result. One cool feature with this fight is that you can actually see the engines fall away from the fortress into the ocean as they're destroyed. Anyways, I destroy the last engine, and then, as is true Ace Combat fashion, I also have to destroy the cockpit, because aerial fortresses can apparently keep flying without engines so long as the crew is alive. I make passes to attack the cockpit, but then because I spend so much time tangling with the fighters, my fuel runs low. This game also basically gives you very little warning from when your fuel is low to when it's completely depleted, so I quickly try to finish the mission before fuel runs out, but I am unable to, and my engines flame out. I plummet into the ocean and die. So I do the mission again, this time doing it the boring but consistent way. I just repeatedly make hit and run passes on the engines until one is destroyed, then move on to the next one, because this is the best way to do the mission, unless you're Tenma apparently.
Missile approaching. Dive!
Once all the engines are destroyed, I do the exact same tactic to take out the cockpit. After one last pass, I hear the sounds of the fortress exploding, though I can't see it due to me trying to evade missiles. And our tasking is done, and the insurrection is over.
Congratulations. The enemy has capitulated and the coup has failed. The rightful government has been restored to this peaceful country. Your skill as Top Guns changed the balance. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you.
Now back to our regularly scheduled conflict in the Ocean continent with Cypher and PJ. I don't think this is what I asked Santa for. So after the Valet airbase crew repaired the runway in record time, without there even being a hint of a scratch on the runway, good job guys, we set off to pursue the XBO. We just took down one aerial fortress, and now we're immediately taking down another. We apparently chased them all the way to the Valdrag Mountains, coincidentally to the exact same place where we intercepted the Belka nuclear bomber 6 months ago, passing directly over one of the nuclear detonation craters. After a bit of flight, we finally catch up to it. Ignore the fact that it wasn't paying attention and flew right past it. That didn't happen at all. We get engaged by Espada team, a squadron from Sapin that defected to a world with no boundaries, and were tasked with escorting the XBO. After a short dogfight, I managed to cripple Espada 1's aircraft. I could kill him right then and there, but what will be the point? I decide to let him go and engage Espada 2, who gives me a nice clean shot into her backside. With both of Espada team down, I proceed to clean up the remaining escorts of Su-37s, then take out a pair of B-2s that were also escorting the XBO, starting with Felsen, who was actually an undercover Osean spy sent to keep an eye on A World With No Boundaries, so I probably ruined her mission. Anyway, I then engage and take out a pair of Su-32s, Suertes Squadron. Lastly, I shoot down the other B-2, Vulcan, sending him back to the lands of OpenGL. With all the escorts down, I start working on the XBO itself. You might have noticed that I brought bombs instead of air-to-air missiles like some kind of dumbass. And you might be right, but this dumbass can make high-speed bombing runs on the very large aerial fortress that are very effective at destroying its subsystems. After the primary defenses are neutralized, I repeat my bombing runs to destroy the secondary defenses and engines. Unfortunately, I missed my bomb in my second run, but no worries, I still have plenty. I bomb the engines and eliminate the last remaining AA guns with my missiles, once again leaving the cockpit magically keeping the craft airborne without engines. Instead of firing missiles from the front, I just bomb the cockpit from behind as it's easier and leaves me open to less fire from the cockpit. With that, the XBO Resvelger is down. Merry Christmas! Here we go, our final sortie. Our mission is to stop A World With No Boundaries from launching the V2 missile that they have.
I'll be back. Pass through B7R.
But first, we have to actually get there by passing through area B7R again. Of course, nothing can be easy, so we quickly get intercepted.
Area B7R. There's no time to change course. Eliminate enemy forces in the round table and break through it. North 1 to all units. Begin the operation. Let's Victor. Be justice.
After Galt team finishes aura farming, I try to get an XMAA shot off in the initial merge, and actually get a hit. I start pursuing a Galt aircraft, managing to get a perfect shot at him, but turns out he was just baiting me, and I unfortunately take it. Trying again, I actually managed to get a kill during the initial merge, leaving one less that I have to tangle with. After the merge, I kill a second Galt member with a passing missile shot. As it turns out, passing shots are the best tactic because it leaves you less open to enemy missiles. With this tactic, I quickly shoot down a third. I try to get another one in a head-on pass, but I miss. Conveniently, he then gives me a nice opening after we pass each other. See ya! I get really close with another Galt member, giving me flashbacks to Gelb team. Unfortunately, I can't do a Cobra maneuver, so I just try slamming on the brakes, and it actually works, allowing me to gun him down. I quickly get behind another Galt aircraft and deal heavy damage, but he breaks away before I can deal the finishing blow, forcing me to chase him down again to kill him. This just leaves Galt 1, who I manage to hit with an XMAA. I then finish him off after a short chase.
All enemy planes are down. There has been no change in plans. Stay on course to target destination. I'll follow Cypher to the end.
We've joined up with the rest of the allied squadrons and now have to refuel. Using my aerial refueling skills from VTOL VR that definitely apply to this game, I quickly assume the position and get the refueling hose nice and right into my receptacle. What? We start mission 17, the Valley of Kings, by flying through the canyon at low level to avoid enemy SAMs. I reach the first bridge, which has 2 AA guns and 2 SAMs. I primarily focus on taking out the SAMs to avoid being shot in the back. We then pass over a fortification in the river. I once again focus on the SAMs. Because my targeting system decides not to cooperate with me, I take a missile to the face and die. This time my targeting system does cooperate, and I take out 2 of the 3 SAMs at the fortification, being unable to take out the third due to the wall getting in the way. I'm able to avoid the missile, and I also take out 2 Rafales in the canyon with my XMAAs. As our allies start dropping one by one, I reach a second bridge, and take out the 2 SAMs on it. I then reach the third bridge, and take a missile to the face while trying to line up my shot on one of the SAMs. After passing that bridge in the next run, I reach the second river fortification, and take out the SAMs not behind the wall in a high-speed pass. The Ace Springer appears and starts jamming my radar, making it a lot harder to dodge any SAMs behind me, which a SAM behind the wall does fire at me. I take out 2 Su-47s in the valley, and turn hard to avoid the missile, which actually works. I then pass another bridge, which only has 1 SAM. Unfortunately, I guessed the position of the SAM wrong and fail to take it out. It fires a missile at me, and I just barely avoid it by ducking behind the terrain at the last second. But now we've reached the dam and moving to phase 2. I dive into the dam and start destroying the locks with the V2 control system. My targeting system once again decides not to cooperate and doesn't feel like targeting the lock that's right in front of me. So I can only destroy half the locks on the first V2 control unit. At the second control unit, I just barely manage to take out all the locks, but I can't destroy the unit itself. I also somehow fail to destroy the last lock on the third control unit. I decide to just fly out and attack the secondary targets and aces for now. After doing a quick pass over the dam and taking out some air defenses, I fly back over the canyon and eliminate Springer to clear up my radar. I also take out the ace Pioshka while I'm at it. I then head northwest where some allies are engaging fighters to take on Ritter and Term. I fire off an XMAA volley that takes out Term, but not Ritter. I simply use regular missiles to kill Ritter instead. I now re-enter the dam and start destroying some of the V2 control units. I destroy the second V2 control unit, and the last lock on the third unit. I try to hit the third unit with an unguided XMAA, but I'm unsuccessful. I just destroy it on the next pass instead. It is at this point that I realize I forgot about one ace, who requires me to destroy a V2 control unit before the countdown hits 2 minutes. So I restart, and I'm actually able to take out all the locks on the first pass this time. I immediately dive back in to take out a control unit, which makes Bauer spawn in the tunnel, who immediately gets smoked because he can't dodge missiles in the tunnel. I destroy the second control unit, but hold off on the third so I can kill the other aces. I eliminate most of the other aces with no problem, but Ritter proves to be annoyingly nimble this time. Eventually, I do manage to get a good shot on him and he goes down. With all the aces down for real this time, I destroy the last control unit and end the fighting.
All V2 control facilities have been destroyed. We did it! We stopped the V2 launch! The fighting is over! We're confirming the situation. Cypher, PJ, stand by. Now the war is finally over. I got a girlfriend back at the base. I'm gonna propose to her when I get back. I even bought flowers.
PJ, no!
Target approaching at high speed. Break! Ah! Dang it! So, have you found a reason to fight yet? Buddy.
I do, buddy. And I prove it just by absolutely blasting Pixie with a full volley of missiles, which immediately destroys his TLS. I continue pursuing him closely, continuing to take missile shots and keeping an eye on where he fires his MPBMs.
Can you see any borders from here? What does borders give us?
No, he's got a point.
We're going to start over from scratch. That's what V2 is for.
I try to line up another missile shot, but Pixie fires an MPBM right in front of him and I'm forced to Cocoon break left, while he just flies straight into the blast unscathed. As the explosion dissipates, I turn back towards him and hit Pixie in the face with a couple of missiles, destroying his MPBM launcher. With the V2 launched and Pixie controlling it, we now have to joust Pixie head-on to stop the V2 due to his ECM system. I try to get a couple of shots off in the initial merge, but don't quite get the angle right and they get deflected. After this, however, I begin the jousting pattern, flying straight away from Pixie to gain some distance, then turning back towards him to attack, turning slightly to avoid his missile, and repeating. I do fail an attack due to me being too low, but after a few jousts, Pixie's ADFX-02 Morgan is destroyed, neutralizing the V2 and stopping a world with no boundaries for good.
It may be true that the world has no need of borders, but would getting rid of them really change anything? The world won't change for the better unless we trust people. Trust is vital in a peaceful world, but that will never happen. I'm still on the battlefield. Right now I'm near a border. I want to see for myself what borders really mean, and what their volition really is. I may not find what I'm looking for, but I still want to try. Anyway, that's what I've come to believe, and I think that's enough. Will he see this video? If you do meet him, give him a message for me. Yo, buddy. Still alive? And thanks, friend. See you again.
The Demon Lord of the Round Table, a warrior who soared through the Balkan War, inspiring both fear and admiration. His presence filled the skies for but a few short months before he disappeared. Apart from that, nothing is known about him. I was never able to find out what kind of a person he really was. But whenever they talked about him, they always had a slight smile on their faces. That, perhaps, may be my answer.
Thanks for watching. It might be a bit until the next episode. I already had this one half cut when I released the first one, so I could get this out relatively soon after the first one. Hey, who knows, maybe Ace Combat 8 will be out by the time the next episode comes out. That would be cool. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you could like the video, or hype it if you're on mobile and watching this in the first week. It would really help out. I also stream a variety of other games on this channel, so if you're interested, subscribe. Thanks again for being here, and I'll see you guys next time when we come back for the year 1998.